Hey guys, it's Wendy with Fab Crafts and More. Welcome back to my channel. This is sort of a long overdue update to the knockout. Now I'm just going to go over the design space part of it. You can watch the application of vinyl to a ceramic tile over in the other video. Design space has changed since the first video I did on this, and so I've gotten a lot of questions about why things don't look the same and why things aren't working the same. And it's sort of a workaround from what it used to be. I hope that this is helpful for those of you who found my other video, which I am going to leave up, but I hope that this answers some of the questions that you have in regards to being able to save the smaller names that you see here in red to a PDF file, and then being able to take a screenshot and upload that into Design Space to be able to slice it out of the larger name. If you enjoy Cricut, or if you're new to Cricut, please subscribe to my channel. I'm always working on new projects and loading things up for you guys to have fun and learn things about Design Space and creating new projects. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions. I do try to get back to all of you if I can. And let's get started. So the fonts that I am going to use for the large name, the font is Times New Roman. This is a font that most computers already have on their operating systems. This font for Dick and Jane is called I Love Glitter, and you can find that on Dafont, DAFONT.com. I will leave a link down in the description below for that. It's cute because it has the little heart in the middle and the swooshes on the end, and it just adds a nice little touch for the knockout technique. Dafont.com has the font I Love Glitter. You can just come to Dafont.com, you can type in glitter, and it will be right here. Click on it so that you can see all the letters that are actually included. And this also will give you a heads up on how you get the fun flourishes and the hearts. This technique can be used for making a sign on wood, on really pretty much any flat, smooth surface. You can also use this to create a iron-on design for a t-shirt. I made one for my mom that actually says grandma on the big words, and my 3 children's name, her grandchildren, run through the middle of it, and it's really cute and she loves it. So there are a lot of options that you can use this technique for. I have opened up a new project, and this is the canvas. Now this looks different from the previous video because there have been a couple updates. So that's why I'm doing this updated version for you guys. So what we want to do is start with opening some text. So you just go over here and push text. I am going to do the names Dick and Jane. And I am using the font called I Love Glitter. If you do not know how to access your fonts, once you have your text selected, you come up here and you are able to search your fonts. So you can choose to search all fonts. System means the fonts that are installed on your computer, not on your phone, not anywhere else. Fonts are installed on devices individually. So if I click System, it's going to get rid of all those Cricut fonts. It's just going to show me the fonts that are on my own computer, and you can search just the Cricut fonts minus the fonts that are on your own computer by choosing Cricut. So I know that these fonts I want are on my system, and I could have just left it on all, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the search window up here to find the font I Love Glitter. And I'm just going to type in glitter. It already pops up. Once I click that, it changes my words to I Love Glitter. So I'm going to double click down here on that. And I'm going to add the little heart. So I'm actually going to take away and I'm going to add the little heart, which is that key that has the backward slash and that straight line right above it. So it's shift backslash will give you the heart. I'm going to then also add the extra little swoosh at the beginning, and that's just the bracket key. So I'm going to push the bracket key to add that. I'm going to scoot over there, add the close bracket key, and there you have your swooshes. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to bring the letter spacing all together. So we can come up here to letter spacing, and you can go ahead and just click one at a time, and you can see the letters moving closer together. I'm going to bring that up here. There we go. And I'm going to continue at letter space and bring those closer together. Now, it is a little bit difficult to see exactly how close you're getting, and so I'm going to enlarge this so that you guys can see. And here we have these two are crossing over each other too much, but these have not come together enough. So the best way to do this is to move them individually. There are a couple ways to do this. One of the ways is to make sure that you have clicked and have selected your words, and you'll see this blue box around there when that is selected. You can also, I'm going to deselect it by clicking off of it. You can come up here and just click on the layer. This is your layers panel over here. And if you click on the layer, it will select everything that's on that layer. So now what I'm going to do is click here where it says advanced, and it says ungroup to letters. Now, before I did that, in fact, I'm going to go to undo up here in the corner. The little back arrow is to move backward. The little forward arrow is to move forward. If I hover over that, it'll say redo. Right now, when I click on any part of the words, it selects the whole thing. Now with this selected, if I come up here to advance and choose ungroup letters, now when I click on something, it's going to select each letter and each element individually. Okay, and it does look like it's going over into the letter next to it, but that's just because this letter starts right here and it ends right here. Okay, so now we are able to move each letter individually. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to click on this little swoosh in front. If you hold down the shift key while you're moving something, it will help you keep it in a straight line without moving up and down. So I'm going to move this over a little bit, and now I'm just going to go through each letter and line it up so it's not, I don't want to see this part going into the D, because if you do that, once you weld, we're going to be welding these letters together, it is going to fill in this hole in the D with black. I don't know why it does it, it just does it. We don't want that to happen. So now I'm going to click on the I, and I'm going to bring it over, and you can see how they kind of cross over each other. I want to try and line that up as best I can, like that, and then I'm just going to go and do that for all the letters. And I'm holding down shift as I move the letters so it keeps them in a straight line. And then here I'm just going to sort of combine those at the tip, and then I'm going to come and grab all of these. This allows you to align them where you want them, and you can barely see right here how it is not all the way over, like so. And then I'll click the N and bring that over, the E, bring that over, and the flourish or the swoosh, and bring that over. So there we have our names all positioned. Now I want to bring this one over just a little bit more because I don't like that. And you might have to play with this a little bit and you might have to zoom in and out. So down here in the lower left-hand corner, you can see you can zoom in and out on your designs without changing the size of what you're working on itself. This keeps everything. You can click on something and you can drag to resize it. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep it the same size. So if you need to zoom in on something, come down here and use this function. So now I can see that that's not quite lined up where I want it to be. And then we'll do the same with the eye. And I'm just going to redo a couple of these. Well, I'm going to redo all of them, and then you can just scroll over and then you can see I'm matching these up better, like so. All right, I don't want to see that inside the E because then it's going to fill that when we weld. It may do it anyways. We'll have to see. Okay, so now I'm going to come back down here and zoom out so I can see everything. So here we have our names, Dick and Jane, and we have ungrouped them. Remember, we went up here to advanced and we ungrouped them. Well, now what we want to do is we want to weld them all together because we want all of the names and the hearts and the swooshes to be one layer. So I have selected everything. I'm going to come down here to the lower right corner and I'm going to click weld. Now you can see over here on the side that it went from a layer for each letter to one layer for everything. That's how you know you're welded. I'm going to go back here and show you. If you didn't have everything selected, so just accidentally, this isn't obvious that you don't have that selected, but it could be a smaller piece, and I click weld. Over here, you're going to have two layers. One layer that we welded and one that we didn't, okay? And you don't want that to happen. So now I want to select everything. Sometimes, for whatever reason, if you are zoomed in like this and you have things, we'll resize it when we need to, but if you zoom in like this close, sometimes when you weld, I'm going to come up to the top and choose select all, but then sometimes when you weld, for some reason when you have it zoomed in, it won't fill in those holes. So I'm going to click weld again, and there we go. That's better. So now I'm going to zoom out because I moved it over so that none of the N would be in there. And now we have one layer with Dick Loves Jane. Okay, so this is where, besides just the interface of Design Space looking different than the first time I made this video, because there have been several updates between then and now, this part is where some people get sort of stuck. So I'm going to select the layer. And now we need to change it from cut to print. And where we do that is coming over here to the top toward the left where it says fill. Click the little arrow and choose print. And then over here you will see that it changes that from cut to cut and print. Now we're not going to cut it this time. See this little caution triangle? If you click on that, it's going to tell you that the image is too large, because when you choose print, Design Space has some maximum measurements that it will let you do. And for print and cut, it's exactly what it says here, 6 3/4 by 9 1/4. So what we need to do is we need to make this fit into that 9 1/4 space. The easiest way is to come up here to the width and just type in 9.25 and enter. And it looks small on the screen. You can choose to zoom in like we did before. Okay, we're at 150% right now. But now you'll see that that caution triangle has gone away. So that will help you out in other projects too, because if you have your design too large, it's already going to let you know. You used to have to wait. You used to like click make it and then it would tell you. Now it's telling you in the layer that there's a problem. So we are ready to roll. This is the first step in creating what we call the bleed and making these letters thicker for the knockout. So I'm going to click make it, and it is going to send me to this mat. Then we don't need to mirror it because we're not doing this as an iron-on yet. Okay, what this step is strictly making these letters thicker and creating the piece that we're going to slice out of the larger name. And this is sort of creating that quote unquote knockout technique. So now I'm going to click continue. Now I am not connected right now to a printer or connected to my machine. This is all done in the computer. I'm going to click continue. It's going to bring me to the print area, and then I'm just going to choose send to printer. It's trying to connect to my maker up here at the top. It doesn't matter. We're not doing anything with that right now. I'm going to click send to printer, and it's going to bring up, this is the dialog box in Design Space. This is not your printer dialog box. This add bleed may be turned off when you first come to this screen. You want to click bleed, add bleed so that that's green, and you also need to click on use system dialog. This will give you the printer settings, and we need to be able to see this in order to do the next step. Now, it tells you now, after clicking print, your print dialog may appear behind your Design Space application. So that's what happens on my computer. I'm using a MacBook Pro. And as soon as I click print, it's going to pop up my dialog box back behind here. So we're going to run through it and I'll show you. Now I'm going to click print, and it's going to sit here and look like it's not doing anything, like it's just thinking and thinking. And I think this is where some people think that it's messed up and they just can't get past this. What you need to do is come over here. Like I said, I'm on a MacBook Pro, but if you're on Windows, I think your little close window or hide window is on the other side. I'm going to hide this window. It's going to zoom down, and there's my print dialog box back behind the Design Space application. Now, this is where we are going to save the names. If you look close, you can tell that the line is thicker than it was when we uploaded it. Okay, now where you go from here is you're going to choose down here at the bottom PDF. Click that, click Save as PDF. This is going to allow you to save it wherever you want to. So maybe your computer automatically saves download or PDF somewhere, and you want to make sure you know where that is so you can go and find it. So I'm going to do knockout test 2. Since I already have done this once, there's a knockout test there. And I'm going to save. I know where this is saved on my computer, okay? You can save it wherever you want to. You just need to know where you're saving it. I'm actually going to go ahead and save this to the desktop just to make life easier for us. When we're loading it up, I'll know exactly where to find it. So I'm going to push save. It has popped up on my desktop right up here. I'm going to come back down and open Cricut back up. It has made that go away. It's telling me I'm not connected to anything, and I don't care. I don't need to be connected to anything right now, and I can get out of this print. So we're going to push cancel. Yes, I'm sure. We're going to press cancel again because we are done with this. The only reason we came into make it from the canvas with these names was to save that PDF file. I'm going to click cancel. So I'm going to keep this name, the one that we started out with. This is not the one that we just saved as a PDF. This is the original name that we typed out. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm also I'm going to change that to red. Well, this is what you have to do. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to find that PDF file. I'm going to open it. Now, mine opens in Preview on my Mac, and on a Windows PC, you may have a picture viewer or another program where this will open. You just want to be able to open this PDF. I think it could be in Acrobat Pro, somewhere where you can take a screenshot. If you do not know how to take a screenshot on your computer, you need to go and find out how to do that. Okay, first of all, I'm going to I want to make this as big as I possibly can. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to enlarge it on my screen as much as I can. And can I even, nope, it's not going to let me go bigger than that. Okay, so on my MacBook, I can hit Shift Command 4 and it will give me the option to drag over the area that I want to clip. So I'm going to do that. Shift Command 4. You can see it gives me this little crosshatch, and I can then come in and choose inside that black box. I don't even have to deal with that black box anymore, and it's going to take the screenshot. So now I'm going to go ahead and close Preview, and it saved the screenshot here to my desktop. And now I will come back into Design Space, hit Upload, Upload Images, Browse, take that screenshot, which is a PNG image. Okay, that's how my MacBook Pro saves the screenshot. And here we are at the upload screen. We do need to clean this up because we want to get rid of the white area. So I'm going to choose Simple, Continue, and then we are in the Select and Erase area. So I'm going to click the magic wand, call this the magic wand, and just click on the white spots. Now, technically in this screen and what we're going to be doing when we upload this, we don't necessarily have to get rid of all of the little white spots, because what this is really doing is creating just an element that we're going to use to slice out of the larger name and be able to stick in the name that is still on our canvas. So it's not really going to matter if we get rid of these little white spots, but if you want to, you can. It also doesn't matter that the K is filled in, because you'll see what I'm talking about when we now continue. So we want to save this as a cut image. Okay, so we are not doing print then cut anymore. We're saving it as a cut image. I'm just going to rename it Knockout. I'm going to call it Knockout 3. And when you are saving your images, this is your chance to be able to add some keywords for you to be able to search for this a lot faster. If you save a lot of images, if you create a lot of your own images, if you're uploading things from third-party sites, or you're creating your own things in Photoshop or Illustrator, this is the easiest way for you to be able to search for your image later. So for me right now, Knockout is going to bring this up in a search. This is an easy one, but let's say you have, like a cat image, and you would want to put a keyword cat. You might want to put a keyword animal, things that you can use in a search that will bring that up. So you don't have to scroll through all of your saved images every single time. So now I'm going to click Save. We've clicked, you can see there's a green box around Save as Cut Image. I'm going to click Save. I already did this once today just to test it out and make sure it was going to work. So I'm going to click on this one and then over here at the lower right and Insert Images. So boom, it's brought it in, but it's super huge, right? So let's go ahead and zoom out. I don't want to make this smaller quite yet, but what I do want to do is move this over. I'm going to hold the Shift key down, because as I do that, let me show you, if I don't hold the Shift key down and I grab the little arrow that rotates things, it's hard for me to really get it exactly straight. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and undo the move. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, grab the rotating arrow, and you can see as I move it, it clicks into place and it clicks it right into that horizontal spot where I don't have to move it around and try and guess whether or not it's perfectly straight. Now I'm going to zoom back into 100%. If you move this around, you might have to move it up to where you can see it well again. And then you just need to decide what size you are going to be making your design. So if it's on a shirt, maybe you're going to make it 10 inches wide. If it's on some sort of board or sign, you may even make it up to 17 inches long or wide, depending on how you look at it. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose 10 inches. I'm going to just click on this so it's selected. I'm going to come up here to where it says size and width, and I'm just going to type in 10 because that's the easiest way to get it to 10 inches. I could use the arrows and start dragging and try to get it and stop right at 10, but sometimes that's a little difficult. So click on it, type 10 in up here. I'm now going to click on the red one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click 10 and return. And now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see what's happening. So now I'm going to take this, and we had this red one first, so it is sitting behind the black. If I right click, it will bring up this little menu, and I can choose to send it to the front or move forward. Now we only have 2 layers, so moving it forward is going to send it to the front. So I'm just going to go move forward. And now when I move it, it's in front of the black. And you can see now how these line up. Okay, if you want to get really picky about this, you can come over here to the layers, click and select that back layer, and you can move it and stretch it around a little bit. Move it around to where it is lining up exactly where you want it. And to me, that looks really good. So you can see here that using the bleed and saving it the way we did and cleaning it up made this nice outline around the red letters. So the next step is for us to, I'm going to select both of these things and move them out of the way. And the next step is for us to create the large name. I'm going to go ahead and click on text. And let's just say Dick and Jane's last name is Smith. Okay, I'm still in I Love Glitter, which was the last font I used, but I want this font to be Times New Roman. So I'm going to click up on font. I'm just going to go to all, and I'm going to start typing in Times. Now you can also go through and pick different fonts if you want them and try them out and see how you like them. But I just know that this is the one that I want to use for right now. So here we are. We've got this big name Smith. And the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make it the same width as the other names. And that width was 10. So there we go. Now, because I just added this and it's the newest layer, it's going to be on top of everything, right? You can see anything that's on the top up here in the layers, this is the order which your layers are. So now Smith is on the top of everything, and the other 2 are below that. Okay, the red names, you can see barely here that the red names are on top of the black names. So now what I want to have happen is I want to try and line these up where the best I can where I want them and kind of get them lined up. Sometimes on the knockouts, when I'm using the I Love Glitter font and the heart, I try to get it like right in the middle. But if you have a name that has, letters that don't give the same spacing, or if you have odd versus even letters, then that can be kind of tricky. Sometimes maybe you want the heart to be just like right in between, but I'm going to go ahead and select everything. I'm going to come up here to align, and I'm going to center everything horizontally. So that's where it says things are centered. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. So now what we're trying to do is we're trying to cut out the spots through the large letters where the red letters are going to go, right? So right now I'm going to choose the red letters. I've come over here to the layers. I'm going to choose the red letters. I'm going to click on the red letters, and I'm going to use my arrow keys to move them out of the way. Sometimes when you have multiple layers, it's hard to click on one that is behind other layers and move it out of the way. So I find that if you just come over here, click the layer over on the layers panel and use your arrow keys, it's a lot easier to move things around. What we also need to do now is we need to click on the large name Smith. This is often where people sort of get hung up. You need to weld your letters together, because if you don't weld your letters together right now, each of these letters is considered a separate letter, and you cannot slice your names out of your little names out of the big name when you have you can only do it with two things. And right now, each letter on this is considered a separate element. So we're going to come down here. We've clicked on the name Smith, and we're going to weld those together. So now we have the weld result. That's how you know that you've welded it. And now instead of just seeing the S, you see the whole name here. So we know that is all one thing. We're not going to pay attention to the red one right now, but we're going to come down here to the other black one. And this doesn't need to be welded because it came in as one image. It's not even really text right now. It's an image that we uploaded. But now, because these two are just two layers, two elements, one element is the name Smith, one element are the names Dick and Jane, we can now have the option down here to slice. So I'm going to click slice. And you don't really see anything that's happened, do you? So what we want to do now is if you come over here, it's kind of small, but you can see here's the big name. We want to keep that. But this part we want to get rid of. So I've clicked on little slicey bits, and I'm going to click on the X, and those are going to go away. Now you didn't really see them go away yet because we still have the Dick and Jane, which is going to be right here. That slice result also needs to be deleted. We're going to delete that now. You can see weird things are starting to happen. We're going to come down and delete the rest of the name that was left. And there you go. Now it looks weird too, right? Okay, we're going to come back up here to the red name, and we are going to move that down into place. And you can see how nicely that fits right in there. That is how we make that knockout happen. So the things that are different from the original video I did is that Design Space looks different. There used to be scissors and some stuff over here on the side. Those tools are all up here at the top now, okay? Print is under fill. You've got cut, draw, score. You've got all these other things. I think that's one thing that sort of messes people up is that they want to change cut to print. They come over here and they're like, wait a minute, there's no print. Cut and print sort of go together. At least Cricut thinks they should go together because they think you're going to print something and then you're going to cut it back out. So it needs to be print and cut, but print is really under the fill. So here you'll see print, you'll see cut, but now we want to cut both of these out. So we're actually going to go to the red letters and we're going to change that under fill to no fill and cut. So now you can see they're both on cut. It changed the color of it. You can easily go back in here and change the color back to red. Because if you want to cut this in two different colors, then you'll want to have it show up on 2 different mats. So now if you're going to do this with vinyl onto a board or a sign, we can go to make it, and you do not need to mirror your image. If you're going to use iron-on or HTV, you are going to need to mirror your image. So we can go to make it. It's going to put this on 2 mats, one for the black and one for the red. Here we are on the black mat. It shows Smith. Smith has been welded together, so it will stay all together and not get jumbled up already. Okay, you don't need to attach it if it's already been welded. Click mirror, it's going to flip it. Click on the red. We also need to mirror that if you're doing iron-on. If you're just doing vinyl, unless you're doing vinyl on the back side of a piece of glass in a shadow box or something, vinyl, you'll just keep it the same. And then from here, you just click continue. You're going to load your 2 colors of mats. It's going to cut it out. If you're doing HTV, you're going to weed it out and iron it onto your shirt. If you're doing vinyl, you're just going to weed it, use transfer tape, put it on your project. You can go refer back to the original video because that part is all the same, and I don't need to bore you. If you already know how to apply these to your different projects, just go right into that. Otherwise, go check out the last part of the original video to see how I applied vinyl to a ceramic tile. So I hope that this update is very helpful for some of you. Some of you that are more experienced with Cricut already knew where the new tools were, and you were able to work through that. But I know there's a lot of people who are finding my channel that are new, and it can be a little bit confusing when you come across older videos where the screen looks different and some of the options have changed. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope you make some fun projects, and I would love to see some of those projects if you want to join the Facebook group. I'll link that in the description. Thank you for watching today. And please, if you found this helpful or fun and you want to be alerted to new videos that I'm doing, click the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can be alerted when I upload new videos. And have a great day.